you talked about on college campuses this sort of victimhood ideology, and many critics of what's happening on college campuses in recent weeks have pointed to what's called DEI. I'm sure you're well aware of this: diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, infrastructure, initiatives that we've learned since October 7th, especially, have almost been entirely useless in dealing with anti-Semitism, to the point where universities that are dealing with anti-Semitism are doing an end around the DEI programs and forming their own anti-Semitism committees or subcommittees to tackle the issue. Now, you have been on record saying that DEI needs to be reformed, that this victimhood rubric, or this rubric of equity and inclusion, needs to include Jews, and that needs to be part of the equation. But there are a lot of critics from all directions that have said this whole institution is corrupt and at times anti-Semitic to its core. How do you respond to some of the pushback that the ADL should not be working within that DEI?
Well, I have friends and supporters who believe this, and I understand it. And again, I don't think it's wrong to say that the failure of many of these DEI offices to effectively respond to the crisis right now is quite an indictment. It just is. On the other hand, I'll also say that, look, we live in an incredibly heterogeneous country, maybe the most diverse country on the planet Earth, right? A multitude of religions, a multitude of ethnicities, a multitude of identities. And to be competitive and to be successful in this heterogeneous world, I think our young people, all of us really, need to know how to navigate it effectively. However, if you are teaching diversity, equity, and inclusion, and that involves the exclusion of Jews, you are doing it wrong. If you're doing diversity, equity, and inclusion, and that involves the, what would you call it, like sanitizing the extermination of Israelis, you are doing it wrong. And so I do think DEI needs to be reformed dramatically to make sure that it is actually delivering on its promise. Now, again, I know there are people with very strong views who say you can never do that. But look, our pluralism has always been our strength in this country. Our country is more diverse today than it's ever been. So I think equipping our young people with the right tools to understand how to navigate, how to manage, how to lead in these kind of complex, heterogeneous environments can be a very good thing if it's done right. But if it's done wrong, we shouldn't abide by that. We should take it offline and we should fix it. We should fix it from top to bottom if that's what needs to happen. So that's how I see it. Again, I know there are some who say, nope, the whole thing predicates on the kind of victimology complex, but it doesn't have to be that way. Just because it's wrong now doesn't mean we can't make it right.